What's going on, everyone? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics. In this video today, we are going to be talking about this post I saw on the CGC Comics subreddit. Basically, a person posting 6 comics and asking, how they did. And usually, honestly, I usually kind of ignore these posts. I don't really understand the purpose of them. I get it. Like sometimes it's people that know they did really well and they're just, kind of want to show off what they got. I still don't really like the premise of, thoughts or how did I do or that kind of thing. But a lot of times it's legitimately people that bought the books and are asking if they did okay, which is the case here. And it seems strange to me that someone like that you'd spend this amount of money and not know ahead of time how you did. And so this goes to my whole, like one of my talking points that I have all the time, which is comic collectors are notoriously cheap on the wrong things. And I'm talking about paying for pricing services like GPA, Go Collect, or Cover Price. It seems like they always want to use something free, don't want to pay for a service. And, sometimes that just isn't enough. And when you're spending a certain amount of money, and in this case, $1,200, like if you're spending $1,200, you should have one of those services. Like just using a free service is not enough. And so we're going to go through each of these books. We're going to talk about how this person did and just see, like, maybe, these services aren't that much. Like if you save $50 on a purchase, like you cover months and months and months of that service. So just think about that. Like sometimes putting a little money up front can really help you out in the long term. And that is why I pay for these services. But let's start getting into this. So the first one that we've got here, let's zoom in on these. We've got an X-Force number 2. And I think this is the second appearance of Deadpool, something like that. But they printed just 1 billion copies of this book. And it's part of the reason why, compared to Deadpool's first appearance, it just does not sell for very much. Now, second appearances usually go for roughly 10%. That's often what I see of first appearances. But this one, yeah, even lower than that. But let's jump over to X-Force number 2. We're going to go to GPA, one of the tools, GP analysis, one of the tools that I like to use. Look up X-Force number 2 from 1991. We'll start with this book here and see how this person did. So this book in a 9.8, you can see last sale, $43. 90-day average, $49. It's just not an expensive book. I could maybe be charitable and give it like a $50 valuation, but I'm still I'm going to give it 45. First one, I'm saying $45. So out of the $1,200 spent so far, that one covers $45. Now, next one here, we've got What If number 105. This is the first appearance of Spider-Girl. Actually a pretty decent key. Got really expensive during the comic boom. So let's jump over to What If number 105. I feel like this is one that people might not realize is worth what it's worth. Like it actually has some reasonable value. And so, if you've got this in your collection, try to pull that book out. So, because you can see here, this is a 9.8, right? Yep, it's 9.8. Last sale, $385. 90-day average, $413. Comic boom. Look at that. Hit $1,500 in late 2020. But right now, 26 sales this year. Based on these sales, I'd say this looks like, I'm actually kind of surprised it says the average is $351. Maybe there were some really low sales earlier in the year. Oh, yeah. It was much cheaper earlier in the year, actually climbing up in value a little bit. But based on recent sales, I'd put this book at $425. I think that's pretty reasonable. I think $425 for the first appearance and origin of Spider-Girl. And, a book that even in a 9.6, still pretty good value, $175. Now the 9.4, that's maybe a low sale, $58, but $126, 9.2. This is a book that, pretty good value, even as long as you're up in the 9s for that one. So What If number 105. All right, now let's move to the first appearance of Cable, New Mutants, number 87. This is an interesting book to me because it's one of those books that has a different kind of color to the to the cover depending on just like the print. And so you've got some that have this orange color, some that have the deeper, like a deeper red. I personally am a fan of the deeper red, but still a cool book. 9.6, first appearance of Cable. So New Mutants, number 87 in a 9.6. Not the second print, which was the gold print. I know I definitely had that when I was a kid. I did not have the first print. But you can see a 9.8 going for 255. Man, that's maybe a deal there. 90-day average 341, but the 9.6 last sale 123, 90-day average 156. Still looks like it is trending down. Low sale of 94, but based on some recent sales, I would say this book looks like 135. Maybe I'll go 140. I'll say 140. So 135 to 140, I'd say. We'll see. I mean, even though the last sale was 123, I'm going to say 140 for that book there. Now let's move on. We're going to save the signature for last because that's going to be probably the most complicated of these. Now we've got first appearance of Dazzler, X-Men 130, another book that was, let's see, is there any note on there? Oh, name written on page 1 in pen. That's interesting. I wonder if it's got an internal signature. Maybe that's one that, with that, I mean, who knows? Who knows what signatures in there? Could be Claremont, could be Stan Lee, never know. And so that one might be a book that this person might want to consider cracking out, depending on how confident they are in the 9.6. But might want to consider cracking that out and sending it in for JSA authentication because it could be something cool. But that's that's a gamble. You're going to take that gamble on it. And this is a newsstand because I'm pretty sure this one had direct in newsstand. So we got a newsstand as well. So X-Men 130. X-Men number 130. Because right now so far we're at, let's see, 565, 570. We're at 610. We're just across the $1,200 mark with the first 3 books. So let's check this book out here. 1980, 9.6, and the newsstand here. Actually, newsstand selling for just about exactly the same as the direct. I mean, yeah, it is around the same time when directs were more. Let's see, what is it? Directs were more rare, but high grades are more difficult in newsstands, so you kind of get a little bit of a wash there. But let's check this one out. We've got last sale 307. I mean, I'd say 350. Looks like roughly 350 based on recent sales and the average there, 346 for the year. And that signature could be something. We'll make a little note. We'll do a little plus next to that it could be something there that could add a little extra value. Now, this book, I do not know this book. So, Obnoxio the Clown, number 1. I have no idea. I have no idea what that book is worth. Obnoxio number 1. Maybe it's $1 million book. I don't know. Maybe this is the book that, that brings it all together. It is not. All right. So let's see. Is it a newsstand? It is not. It is a direct. So direct last sale, $75. 4 sales this year ranging from 86 to 39. I'd say 70. I think 70 is reasonable. We'll go with 70 on this one. So far we are at 45 plus 425. We have 470 plus 140 gets us to 610 plus 350 gets us to 960, and another 70 gets us to 1,030. Let's see. Make sure I'm right there. I think I got that right. But we'll see. Got 1 book left. Got Daredevil, number 181. Man, did I get that right? Let's double check that. 800, 900. Yeah, it looks like it's right. All right, so Daredevil 181, signed by Stan Lee. Maybe this person got a good deal. So let's see here. So Daredevil 181 in a 9.6. See, is this a direct? It is a direct. It is signed by Stan Lee. There's the signature. It is a witness signature, so we know it's not fake or anything like that. 1982. And we'll take a look at what a 9.6 would sell for normally, and you can see not a lot. Like just on its own, this is one of those books that you probably want it to be a 9.8 if you're going to get it graded, because I mean, 45, you're like basically at grading costs for the book. But I would say without the signature, we're at roughly $60. So, you know, that puts us at 60, which gets us to 1,090 without the signature. Stan Lee signatures, I know some people are like, I signed everything, so they can't be worth anything. They're actually worth quite a bit. I mean, as long as they're on the comic, you probably add at least $150 to $200. And if it's a big comic, like an AF-15 or something, it can add thousands. So let's go down to a 9.6, and we'll find one. I'm sure there's one that's signed just by Stan Lee. Oh man, only one here back from 2016 and sold for $238. You know, we did have, let's see if we can maybe find one. I mean, we've got a Miller. We don't want to include Miller. Miller's an expensive signature too. I'm surprised it's only one that's just signed by Stan Lee. But I guess a lot of people are going to get this one signed by Miller. So that's tricky. Let's see if we can maybe look at a different one, 2021. So in 2021, a 9.4 sold for $375 versus, let's look at a 9.4 direct. In 2021 was going for maybe like 85 or 90. And so that added like $300. Now that was comic boom period, but it added like $300. And in the 9.6, I mean, we have here that's Miller. That's Miller though. Miller adding about 250. I could see Stan Lee adding about the same, maybe even a little more. I think it is very reasonable to think that you could add $250 to $300 to the value of this book. I mean, it's going to take the right buyer for sure, but somebody's going to pay it. Somebody will pay it. So I think you can add $250 to $300 for that signature. So let's just go with, $275. Go right in the middle. So that puts our total at $1,365. Now I'm gonna pull out the calculator just to be sure, so that everybody's is in agreement here. So we've got our calculator. We've got 45 plus 425 plus 140 plus 350 plus 70 plus 60 plus 275 for that signature. We are at 1365 plus whatever this name written on page 1 in pen is. So that could be, I mean, maybe another 50 or $100. And if you're lucky, like Stan Lee could add another 200 or 300. So I think it's fairly, now they're going to have to pay to have that regraded and all of that. So, that's tricky. I don't really want to account for that with the price he paid, but he paid $1,200, and I think he got $1,365 roughly out of it. And if you say 300 on the signature, you got close to 1,400. So I would say overall, pretty good buy. Like actually a pretty good buy. Granted, I probably would have wanted to, look those up beforehand to be sure. But let's see what the comment section has to say. Let's see what the comments have to say about this. So this person, they valued the What If less than I did. They valued the New Mutants more than I did. They said unsigned for 70, and so then they're just saying a few hundred extra for the signature. Yep. The X-Men 130 right about the same. Obnoxio right about the same. So 1,070, yep, plus the signature. So like they're similar, a very close price to me. So I think they did fine. This person says Stan Lee's signature seems about 200 to 250, depending on the price of the books. Yep. So that's what we're all talking about here in this video. So but let's see, based off GPA, rough math, about 1,100. This person's saying you overpaid. X-Men 130, definitely the prize. Not a bad ripoff, like some are suggesting. I think you paid 100 or so above market. Like, I mean, I disagree. I don't think they paid above market. I think a lot of people probably don't. Like, if they don't value the signature, they don't put that value on the signature. Like, you've got a lot of people that just think, that they hate signatures or whatever. And so they cannot add that value to the book in their head. That's not how it works. It's what the market will bear for it. And that really is like Stan Lee, he signed everything, but his signatures are still worth quite a bit. This person says too much. If these are worth that much, I might need to retire. Like, I mean, a lot of people think, some people think you did good, but a lot of people think that you seem to overpay. You get if you're happy with it. If you're happy with it is my least favorite response anybody can ever give. It is just give someone a real answer. Like, if you're happy with it is not the answer. Like, give someone a real answer. That's not what they're asking, right? Obnoxio, this person knows who that is. I have no idea who that character is. Fair price, only one signed. Is this a joke? If it's not, you overpaid by a lot. Like, I mean, sorry, guy. I got to disagree. But hey, I mean, to me, the numbers show that this person did pretty good. I think they came out on top, 150, $200. So goodbye for them. Definitely the two big books in here are that first Dazzler and the first Spider Girl. And that first Dazzler, you know, there could be a hidden gem in there somewhere. Might be worth cracking out. It's just if you're willing to gamble on that 9.6, like, is there something that potentially this book could, you know, grade a 9.4 or 9.2, and then you take a pretty big hit, because that it just might not be worth it. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Remember, if you are going out and spending this amount of money on comics, get Go Collect, get GPA, get cover price, whatever it is, and use that to help inform your decisions. But again, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one.